If your life started falling apart for no clear reason, maybe it's not a breakdown. Maybe you're leaving an old timeline behind, and there are 5 signs that confirm it. In this video, I'm showing you all of them. The 5th one is the only one almost nobody recognizes when it arrives. Before we get into the 5 signs, let me ask you something quick. Subscribe to the channel because I bring 3 videos a week for people trying to understand their own process. And leave a like on this one. That's what makes this kind of content reach more people who are also living through this without knowing they are. Let's get to the signs. Before we look at the signs themselves, I need to tell you something many people don't understand about this phase. And it's the most important thing. When life starts falling apart, relationships cooling off, work losing meaning, body getting tired, old desires evaporating, our first reaction is trying to understand why. Because explanation brings relief. If I know the reason, I have control. So we look for blame in ourselves, in others, in the moment, in depression, in stress, in something. But what's happening there isn't a problem. It's a process. And while you're spending energy trying to understand so you can control, you're wasting the energy you needed to get through it. I've done this. I spent months looking for the mistake that was bringing me down. In therapy, at the doctor, and myself, each place gave me a different reason. And none of them solved it, because the mistake didn't exist. What existed was a transition. And here's the point that changes everything. The chaos you're living through isn't your life falling apart. It's one version of you dying so another can be born. Everything that's leaving, relationships, work, identity, desires, isn't leaving because there's something wrong with you. It's leaving because it doesn't fit in your next version. And the more you try to hold on, the more painful it gets. You're not breaking. You're being recalibrated. There are 5 signs that show up in this phase. I'm going to show you all of them, and the 5th is the most important because it's the only one that confirms the new version of your life is already formed on the inside. Let's start with the first 2, which you'll probably recognize immediately. The first sign is the most visible. The relationships in your life start reorganizing themselves without you doing anything. Old friendships cool off without a fight. Family members start irritating you in a disproportionate way. A romantic relationship that lasted years loses its chemistry. And the worst part, you go talk to that person who always understood you and it feels like you're speaking different languages. Most people interpret this as I'm becoming a cold person, but you're not. Your internal frequency changed, and the people who vibrated together with you in the previous pattern can't sustain the relationship in the new one anymore. It's not their fault or yours. It's energetic natural selection happening right in front of you. An important warning here. This isn't an invitation for you to go breaking up with everyone. It's just for you to recognize what's happening. Some relationships cool off and come back after you cross over. Others don't. But time shows that. Your job here is just to notice and not fight the process. The second sign appears at work, in your routine, in things that used to make sense. That activity that gave you pride now feels heavy. You sit in your office chair, and your body's already tired before you even start. Tasks that were automatic become a monumental effort. And that weird feeling starts showing up. I'm pretending to be here. This isn't boredom. Boredom is lack of stimulation. This is purpose draining away. The old system lost its energetic charge because the part of you that gave meaning to it already left. But if these 2 signs appear in what's around you, the next 2 appear inside you. And this is where many people confuse process with disease. The 3rd sign is the one that scares people most because it appears in the body. You start feeling a disproportionate tiredness. It's not the tiredness of someone who worked too much. It's a heavy, deep tiredness that sleeping well doesn't fix. Or the opposite. You sleep too much, or you have insomnia in waves, or you wake up at 3 in the morning for no reason. Your appetite changes. Your weight fluctuates. You become more sensitive to noise, to smells, to crowded places. And here I need to pause to be very honest with you. These symptoms can be several things. They can be illness, they can be deficiency, they can be hormonal issues. If you're living through this, go to the doctor first. Get tests done. Rule out what needs to be ruled out. Health before spirituality, always. But if you've ruled all that out and your body continues being strange without a clear cause, it's likely that something is happening that medicine can't measure yet. Your vibrational identity changed, and your body needs to adjust its biochemistry to support the new version. It's not disease, it's an update. The fourth sign is the most uncomfortable of all four. The identity crisis. You look in the mirror and your own face feels strange. Tastes that defined you seem distant. Opinions you defended seem like they belong to someone else. You open your closet and nothing seems like you. And that scary question comes up. Who am I now? And here's where the most common confusion lies. Many people think this is depression. But depression is absence of internal movement, a constant weight with no direction, nothing happening underneath. Transition is the opposite. There's intense movement under the surface, pain with a feeling that something is in progress, direction even when it's confusing. When in doubt, seek professional help. Both things can coexist. Your body isn't getting sick, it's updating itself. And you're not losing yourself, you're leaving an identity that needed to die. But the gap between one and the other is the hardest part. Almost nobody warns you that this gap is the path, not the mistake. And if you're living through these signs, there's a specific path to get through this without prolonging it. That path is in the ebook I'm going to show you in a bit. But first, and it's exactly here that most people get stuck, because recognizing the signs is one thing. Getting through the transition without prolonging the suffering is something completely different. Most people spend years stuck in the first four signs without understanding they're resisting exactly what needed to happen. That's why I organized everything I learned in this phase into one material. It's an ebook where I show the complete timeline detoxification protocol, how to recognize each sign more deeply, how to act on each one, and most importantly, what not to do so you don't delay the process. It's exactly the path I wish someone had shown me when I was in this phase. The link is in the description. Take a look, see if it makes sense for you. And getting back to it. The fifth sign is a silence, but not a common silence. It's a silence that appears inside you without warning, and it bothers you at first precisely because you'd never felt one like it. That critical voice that commented on everything you did, that kept chewing on problems all the time, that anticipated bad scenarios on autopilot, that voice starts going quiet. It doesn't disappear all at once, but you notice you're quieter inside. And when this happens, your nervous system feels strange because it was addicted to the noise. You find yourself thinking, I should be worrying about this month's bill right now, or about that person who grew distant, but I'm just not. And that observation catches you by surprise, like it's someone else thinking it. And parallel to this silence, a second thing happens. The synchronicities start multiplying. Conversations that answer questions you hadn't even asked yet. The right people appearing at the right time without you looking. And concrete alignments start appearing too. You think of someone and the person calls. Extra money shows up right when you needed it. A job offer crosses your path without you looking for it. And it's the combination of these two faces, internal silence plus growing synchronicities, that confirms the transition has already completed. They mark that the new timeline has already stabilized energetically. You're not in transition anymore. You are in the new reality. It just hasn't taken visible material form yet. The internal silence is the gap between the old and the new closing. The synchronicities are the new timeline responding to your presence in it. When there's internal coherence between identity, emotion, and body, a person's field becomes more magnetic, and reality starts reorganizing itself to match that new frequency. Most people miss this moment. They think they're lost, they're empty, nothing's happening. When in reality, everything's happening, just on a layer the brain wasn't trained to recognize. You got through the transition. Now it's not you trying to reach the new version of your life anymore. It's reality running to catch up with you. But maybe you're asking yourself now, why is this sign worth more than the other four? Why is it the only one that truly matters? The answer is simple, but it changes everything. The first four signs are process. The fifth is result. The first four tell you you're in transition. The fifth tells you you completed the transition. And this distinction matters because you can stay stuck in the first 4 for 5 years without ever reaching the fifth. There are people who live signs 1, 2, 3, and 4 their entire lives in successive cycles, losing everything again, starting from zero again, without ever consolidating. Why? Because they're still resisting, still trying to hold on, control, understand. Sign 5 only appears in those who let go. And the internal silence is the best criterion because it's the hardest to fake or force. You can't produce this state with technique, with affirmations, with visualization. Either it's there or it's not. There's no way to manufacture it. That's why it confirms, because it can't be performance. The synchronicities can't either. You can even start looking for them, but they appear genuine only when you're not needing them to appear. When there's internal coherence, your attention becomes available to notice, and what you notice multiplies. The other signs warn you that something is happening. This one confirms it already happened. And that's why it's the only one that truly matters, because the others are a map of the path, and this one is the arrival. But if you recognized at least some of these signs, maybe you're asking yourself what to do with this, and the answer is simpler than you expect, because actually, the path here isn't to do more things. It's to stop getting in the way. 3 steps. Pretty simple. First, stop explaining the chaos. Every time you're about to try to understand why everything's happening, replace it with one single sentence. This is happening because something is changing. Period. The brain seeks a cause to reduce discomfort. Don't give it that relief. The discomfort is the engine that makes the transition complete. Second, don't fill the identity void. You're going to feel a huge temptation to close one door before the next one opens, rush into a new group of friends, new job, new relationship. Resist. The emptiness is the next timeline forming. Filling it too early aborts the process. Third, write down 1 micro sign per day. It can be the smallest synchronicity. You thought of someone and that person appeared. You heard a phrase that answered your question. Anything small. In 7 days, you have a visible map of the new timeline taking shape. When you notice, they multiply. The leap isn't something you do. It's something you don't get in the way of. Trying to speed up the birth is like pulling the butterfly out of the cocoon. You kill what's being born. These 3 steps are already enough for you to start crossing over with less friction. If you apply at least these 3 steps, you'll already be in a different place from where you were when you started this video. You'll have a name for what's happening, a map to recognize where you are, and 3 simple actions to not get in the way of the process. That's already much more than most people have. But if you want to go further, understand the whole mechanism of this transition, why it's happening now specifically in your life, and how to accelerate the 5th sign without forcing it, the complete protocol is in the ebook I told you about. Many people who've watched this channel have already sent me messages saying the material was what was missing to close the process. The link is in the description. Check it out if it makes sense for you. Now tell me in the comments, which of these 5 signs was the first one you recognized in your life? I read them all, and I often get video ideas from the stories you share. Share this video with someone you know is living through this right now without understanding what it is. Sometimes one word changes how a person gets through it. And subscribe to the channel because 3 times a week I bring content like this for people who want to understand their own process without having to believe in magic. The next video is going to talk about what happens after the 5th sign, how to sustain the new timeline when it still seems fragile. I'll see you there.